Hello, it is 12 noon in Perugia. It's 3 a.m. in Los Angeles. I'm Monita Rajpal.
And I'm Zain. Verjee. You're watching CNN, the world's news leader, and this is World One live from London.
Prosecutor in the Amanda Knox case says he'll challenge Monday's ruling clearing her and her ex-boyfriend of murder. The appeals court in Perugia overturned the guilty verdicts on Knox and Raffaele Sollecito for the killing of British student Meredith Kercher back in 2007. Well, right now, Amanda Knox is thought to be on a flight from Rome to London, where she'll then catch a connection to the United States. We want to take you back now to Perugia and join James Bone. He's been covering the case for the Times of London. James, thank you very much for being with us. Is there a sense that there's this, the ruling has, I guess, unleashed more questions than it has actually answered them? Is there a sense it's almost anticlimactic?
Not really. There's a lot of unhappiness here in Perugia. The locals are furious about the decision. Last night,
as you can imagine, newspapers around the world are divided in their responses to the ruling. Here in the UK, the Daily Mail with the headline, "Knox Circus Overshadows Our Lovely Girl," says Kerchers. The paper says for 4 agonizing years, the family of Meredith Kercher have had to watch as her murder was picked over, detailed by horrific detail. And their torment will now continue after last night's dramatic court decision leaves them still wondering how exactly their lovely, lovely girl came to be so horrifically killed. In the United States, the Los Angeles Times has the headline, "U.S. student exonerated in Italy slaying." It goes on to say the case was a media sensation from the start, with allegations of drug-fueled group sex and a principal suspect whose cherubic face proved to be an irresistible canvas to a world that saw in it images ranging from scheming vamp to innocent ingenue. And finally, the headline in the Italian newspaper, the Libero, roughly translates as "the Italian justice system is a worldwide embarrassment." Now, the comment piece goes on to say, between rushed investigations and the circus of verdict announcements, each case becomes an unsolvable mystery. Of course, one issue, many views, and you can read all those articles in full at facebook.com/W1CNN. And of course, Zain, there are so many other papers here in the UK. There's been an interesting difference between how the British papers as well as the American papers and of course the Italian papers have been covering this. We're seeing the British papers, of course, at massive front page headlines, as we just saw with the Daily Mail, but here in the Guardian, the nightmare is over, Knox and Sollecito freed. But again, all the British papers are showing them as massive front page news.
And as we wait for Amanda Knox to land here in London.
A country on the brink, a continent in crisis, world markets dragged down by fear. European finance ministers are trying to absorb a fresh blow after Greece admitted it doesn't expect to meet agreed targets for deficit reduction. The Economic and Financial Affairs Council is meeting right now, but what, if anything, can they do? Well, let's bring in CNN business anchor Nina DeSantis with more. So they're meeting again. Here we go, yet another meeting.
More rhetoric?
Yeah, more rhetoric. Is that what we're expecting?
Plenty of rhetoric, not enough action. And let me just read you a quote from an analyst today. He's saying, quote, "We're now in the twilight zone of economic and political charades."
You know what? You kind of remain flabbergasted because you think that... I understand that there's no easy solution. I get it. But there's got to be something, right?
Eventually.
We'll
just have to see what it is.
All right, Nina, thank you very much. The Libyan man convicted of the Lockerbie bombing says the truth about the attack on Pan Am Flight 103 will come out, quote, hopefully in the near future. Abdelbasit Al-Megrahi says there will be new revelations about the 1988 bombing, which killed 270 people. 2 years ago, at that time, it was said he had only months to live.
This is World One live from London.
In addition to that, we want to share some of the other stories that we're talking about here at World One. Not sure if you're the marrying kind? Well, it's good news for you if you live in Mexico. Soon, you may be able to give marriage a 2-year trial run with a no-fault divorce at the end of it if you don't like it. It's a proposal, no pun intended, from the Party of Democratic Revolution, which says it wants to reduce the pain and cost of ending a marriage. Critics of the bill say it's an attack on family values. One of the most secretive regimes in the world is in the social media spotlight. South Korean media are picking over pictures on Facebook, which they say are of Kim Han-sol. Now, he's the grandson of North Korean leader Kim Jong-il. Information from a Facebook page for his international school in Bosnia reveals he's 16 years old, apparently likes American movies, and enjoys photography, travel, and spas. Reports say he also posted a poll asking friends whether they prefer democracy or communism. He apparently picked democracy. I wonder what Grandpa would say about that. Fancy a donut in Denmark? Then, sorry folks, I have bad news for you. They're probably sold out. The levying of the world's first fat tax has triggered a freezer-filling frenzy, with junk food fans stockpiling their favorite treats to beat a price jump on products high in saturated fats. The new tax is supposed to help Danes live longer. Zain?
Monita, you're watching World 1 live from London.
Welcome back. It's playoff time in Major League Baseball, and no surprise that the Yankees are in the race for the World Series. Alex Thomas is here with more on that and the rest of the sport, but you shouldn't say that to a Mets fan.
No, and I know one Yankees fan in our control room will be maybe listening carefully. He'll already know the result, though. The American League Division Series between the Yankees and the Detroit Tigers.
There's a similar link to this, but here's a question for you. If a pub landlady takes on the Premier League, who would win?
You think the mighty Premier League would? But you'd be wrong. You're right. This is a similar story involving commercial rights over football. England's Premier League, the richest in the world, and Sky Television that sell the rights here in the UK have been defeated at the European Court of Justice by a pub landlady named Karen Murphy. Will be a bit of a hero in parts. She was using a cheaper Greek satellite decoder to show her clients, her customers, Premier League football in her pub. She was fined by Sky, but has now won a ruling in the European Court of Justice, Monita, saying that, you know, it's all the European Union. Just as there's free movement of labour, you should also be free to buy your goods and services wherever you like. And this has huge implications for the world of football because, of course, TV revenue is now the largest income for some of these major clubs like Manchester United, Barcelona and Real Madrid. If TV companies don't have exclusive rights, they won't pay as much to clubs, who then have less money to pay their players. And suddenly all these rich and pampered footballers may see themselves having less money, although that's quite a long way down the line, and this ruling is sure to be challenged.
So instead of getting £150,000 a week, they'll maybe get 125.
Poor things.
I know, I'm crying a river. Alex, thank you very much.
Welcome back. This is World 1 live from London. The world's most valuable technology company is hoping to take another leap forward. Apple's expected to unveil the iPhone 5 at its California headquarters a little bit later today. The phone's evolved since its launch in 2007. The first iPhone went on sale with a hefty price tag of nearly $500. It had a 2-megapixel camera, which was less powerful than many phones on the market at the time. A year later, the iPhone 3G came out in more than 70 countries, costing as little as $200. It was twice as fast as the original and featured built-in GPS. Then there was the third version, called the iPhone 3GS, with the S standing for speed. It was twice as fast as its predecessor and had twice the storage capacity at the same price. It also had a better camera. The current model, the iPhone 4, came out in the middle of 2010. Apple kept the price the same as the previous two models, but it made quite a lot of changes. Front and rear-facing cameras to enable video chatting and a newer and thinner design. It also came with problems with reception that made Apple offer free cases to correct that.
Well, the iPhone 4 has been hugely successful, so the new phone will have a lot to live up to, and a lot of people are guessing what we'll have to offer. Jason Jenkins is with us here. He is the editor of CNET UK, a technology blog. Jason, thank you very much for being with us. First of all, I should say I don't have an iPhone, and I would assume I would be pretty unhappy if Apple kept coming up with newer and newer versions after I just bought one. Why do they keep doing that?
Well, actually, Apple brings out fewer models than almost every other, well, in fact, any other mobile manufacturer. It's very common for, in the mobile space, for people to bring out a new phone every sort of 3 months or so. Apple's left it more than a year.
Also be the first iPhone that the new CEO, Tim Cook, is presenting as well. What kind of impact do you think he's going to have, or he will have had on this?
Well, he's been hugely involved in the company for many years, and in fact, he's been acted as the interim CEO a couple of times now. So behind the scenes, we're led to believe he's been sort of running the show for a while. But
Jason, I'll just say that, you know, it makes every time I look at one, I feel like an old granny. I'm thinking, wait, what is this thing? I don't know how to use it. It's all kind of funny. But thank you very much, and we'll see what they come up with. Jason, appreciate your time. I've been feeling a lot like summer here in the UK and in much of Europe, and the question everyone wants to know is how long will it last? Let's go to our meteorologist Mari Ramos at the World Weather Center. And Mari, I'm hearing we're at the tail end of this heat wave.
Ooh, yeah, at the end. I don't know. I haven't heard too many complaints about it, though, Monita. You know, people have pretty much been enjoying this taste of summer here in early autumn.
Mari, thank you very much.
You're watching World One live from London. I'm Zain Verjee.
I'm Monita Rajpal. Thanks for watching CNN.